Hi, Jim Britt here again. In the first video, I talked about the cycle of addiction, which is my explanation for why we continue to do the exact things that keep us in debt, alone, fighting in our relationships, worried, stressed out, and generally unhappy. In truth, anytime you're experiencing something negative in your life, no matter how severe or how small even, it's a result of this addictive cycle. It's an automatic response, like flinching when somebody raises their hand in front of your face. The addictive cycle, like a habit, it's not all bad. It's simply how we naturally cope and protect ourselves and how we're able to function without having to analyze every little thing that we do before taking action. You know, like driving your car. If every time you got in your automobile to drive, you would have to say to yourself, now, how does this thing work? You know, might be a little difficult to function in the world. So if you've been hurt by someone that you loved, as another example, you'll naturally try to keep it from happening again. If you lost money in the stock market, you might be a little hesitant to make another investment right away. These protective measures you create aren't bad unless you keep doing them and keeping you from being happy or earning more money or holding you back from having the kinds of relationships that you want. Then you'll want to let them go. Now, when you learn to identify the source of your blocks that stop your success, you can begin to let it go, move on, and open the door to something far better in your life. That's what the power of letting go is really all about. It's about you having a better life than you're living today. Now, I found that this process is best explained by example. What you're about to hear are the stories of real people who have experienced my Power of Letting Go program. In one of my workshops, a lady kept saying, well, the reason I can't be successful is because of my father. He verbally abused me all the time. He told me I'd never amount to anything, I'd never be successful. And I said, well, so your father is the reason why you're not successful today? And she said, absolutely. I said, tell me, where's your father today? She said, well, he died about 10 years ago. And my question to her then was, who's abusing you now? And she said, well, I don't understand the question. And I said, well, the question is, who's abusing you now? And I said, think about it for a minute and I'll be back. And a couple minutes I came back and I said, well, did you come up with the answer? She said, you mean I'm abusing me? You see, what was happening is she took that past experience or series of past experiences, held on to them, and kept reliving them over and over and over in her life. Once she learned to let go, her success skyrocketed, basically. Now, the next story is about a woman who just couldn't seem to attract the right partner in her relationship. She had had 7 relationships. All were abusive. When she came to my workshop that morning and registered, I noticed that she had bruises on her wrist, her throat, her eye, had a black eye, and a busted lip, and apparently had been abused. Well, during the course of the first day, she shared with the group that her boyfriend was extremely abusive. In fact, when she left that morning to go to the workshop, he told her, he said, if you try to leave me, I will kill you. And she said, he meant it. Well, we discovered that she had this really deep need for acceptance or approval. And of course, her boyfriend had a real deep need to be controlling and abusive. So in reality, they're a perfect partner, because in order for somebody to find somebody to abuse, they have to find somebody that's needy, somebody that needs acceptance, that will stay with them. And in order for the person to feel something and feel good about themselves, they need to feel that somebody wants them, so they attract somebody to abuse them. But once she understood this concept and she let it go, that evening she went home and she said, I walked in the house and I looked around the room and expected to see my boyfriend sitting in the lounge chair and say, hey, bring me a beer. And he wasn't there. She said, I went to the kitchen thinking he's probably already getting his own beer. He wasn't there. She said, I went to the bedroom. Maybe he had passed out on the bed. He wasn't there. She said, I ran to the closets. I threw the closet doors open. All of his clothes were gone, and there was a note on the dresser saying, I will never be back. Now, you can think that's a coincidence, but when she let go of her need for approval, he no longer had anybody to control, and I believe he felt it. He knew it. And today, this has been several years ago, today she's in a happy marriage, no abuse, simply because she let go of the need for acceptance. Now, the next story is about a man who struggled with success and money issues all of his life. And he seemed to always want to have multiple businesses going, maybe 8 or 10, sometimes even 15 businesses at one time, because he thought the more businesses he had going, the better chance he had of succeeding. Maybe one of them will make it if I have 15 of them going. But in reality, he was diverting all of his efforts, and fear had him. Fear had taken over his life, fear of failing. So he had so many things going that he figured, I'm going to succeed at one of these. But once he understood that he had this need to control his life like that, and he was afraid of failing, when he let go of that fear of failure, he ended up with one business, and within several months, his business took off, his income skyrocketed. Last time I talked to him just a couple months ago, his income had gone in less than a year up to almost $20,000 a month, and still going up. And he had never made that, even close to that, at any time in his life in the past, simply by letting go of the fear of failing. This happened for him. Hopefully, you now understand what I mean when I talk about letting go. The process of letting go, it isn't difficult, but it takes a decision on your part to change. The commitment to follow through and work the process, and the willingness to let go of the past. These things aren't easy, for most of us anyway. We're taught by society, our families, and even our experiences that we should hold tightly to our beliefs, our judgments, and our philosophies, even when these things are keeping us broke, unhappy, or worried about our future.